Striker Scorpion 82 is now sponsored by Warhammer Combat Cards, a card battle game featuring your favourite Citadel miniatures from the 40k universe. Build your army decks, dominate opponents in player versus player action, collect and upgrade cards to fit your strategy, improve their power and unlock unique traits. Choose from all 40k factions, take part in campaigns based on iconic 40k battles, rise to the top of the leaderboard and win glory. Free to download and play, link is in the video description below or on the channel homepage, and by using the unique link it helps support the channel. Thanks and enjoy the game. Right, welcome to this review for the new Thousand Suns Codex. So very excited about this one. I do have a Thousand Suns army and I've been looking forward to the new Codex for them. So big thank you to Games Workshop, they sent me a copy through the post. Here, do check out goblingaming.com, they are the channel sponsors here. They do 40k and a broad range of other gaming systems and accessories at a discounted rate. So if you are going to purchase from them, do use the link below. It does help out the channel in a small way at no cost to you, so it's much appreciated and helps support the channel here. So Thousand Suns then, this for me, I have an army of these, big fan of them, love the sculpts. When the new sculpts came out a number of years ago, it's, fantastic job. Thousand Suns were hardly an option it's not so long ago. They were available, but there wasn't much to them. It was just a case of painting up a lot of Chaos stuff in the Thousand Suns colour scheme. There were sort of Thousand Suns Chaos Space Marines available, but nowhere near the variety that's available today. So a brilliant time to collect Thousand Suns. A beautiful range in plastic. Big fan. Bit of a challenge for painting. It does put some people off. Quite intricate with the gold and the blue and so on. A bit time consuming. They do take a while to paint if you are going to paint them up nicely. But very rewarding if you do, because it's a very striking colour scheme for sure. I hope to have, if not live already, then coming up very soon, to bring over some of my painting tutorials for the Thousand Suns and then put them onto YouTube for everyone to use. I think there's 3 that I did as painting tutorials. It was a secret project. I collected these in secret over on the Plus channel, a number of secret armies on the go. This was the first army. And produce a number of secret painting tutorials for the Plus channel. I'm going to bring those over onto YouTube, and so if you feel challenged in regards to painting Thousand Suns or want to paint them up similar to how I've done them, then you can achieve the same results by following those tutorials. And it's all step by step, so I'll show you right from the very start, from construction, priming the model, and then taking you all the way through to the last details and basing and so on, how to finish the model off. So all the hints and tips, guiding you through the whole process. And I think there's 3. How to paint Rubric Marines, one of your sort of your standard Thousand Suns model, which you can then use for all the sorcerers and so on, same process. There should be one for the Xangos as well, so entirely different, sort of the blue chicken type models. And then I'll show you also one of the larger projects. I think it's one of the Mauler Fiends painted up in the Thousand Suns colour scheme as well. And that's covering basing, as preparation of the model, base colours, washes, finishing touches, and all of that, all covered in all 3 of those videos. So real resource for you as you paint up your Thousand Suns models. So check those out, and then hopefully there'll be a showcase video for all the models as well, like an army painting reference video that I'll bring onto YouTube, or film and put onto YouTube here, and that's where I zoom in to my whole collection and you can see front, back, side and rear views of all the models, and you can use that as a painting reference as well. So plenty of resources to help you out. Thousand Suns, it is a challenging army to paint, and so hopefully those videos will help you out as you put your own army together. So that's the idea. So are they any good is the question, and what kind of improvements or not here with the new Codex. But as per usual, presentation beautiful here. Do love these new codexes. All of them I think have been excellent so far. So, Thousand Suns, I've had a look through, it looks like they have improved a fair bit, but we shall see. And check out the comment section. If you're a Thousand Suns player, leave your own comments and feedback if you think the improvements are really good, if they're more than what you expected, or what you're expecting, or worse, then leave that in the comment section. Thousand Suns on the channel been tough enough. They've been one of the higher performing armies. I run a very psychic heavy just to keep with the fluff. Lots of psychic stuff going on. I don't run Magnus the Red yet. Just I don't know, just a bit of a just not keen on the model, just like this big purple turkey running around the table. I just can't bring myself to. His thighs are too big. I can't do it. I can't get him. For now, I need to be persuaded. But perhaps honest, when you see the model, it's more impressive than the pictures. But I probably stick with Ahriman for now on his Disc of Zinch, the Rubric of Ahriman, Legions of the Saltarius. So background fluff we're looking at here: Ruling Cobbles, the Great Cults, and also these codexes. Yeah, all the rules being obviously a revamp on the rules, but they're also pulling everything together from other supplements and bits and pieces that have been all over the place. Now everything's into the one codex. That's the other bit of great news as well. The Fall of Ultimatus. Whoa, 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 look at this colour scheme here. Strange. Huh. Astolphus the Innocent. Exalted Sorcerer of the Cult of Mutation. Right, now, so this is Cult of Time. I think that's the one I'm going to go for, probably. It's what I was running before, and that's the sort of your standard colour scheme for the Thousand Suns. So they're actually giving you a colour scheme here for the relevant cult. Interesting. Cult of Knowledge. This colour here. One's in red. It's the Cult of Duplicity. Covenant of the Three. Lord Cataclystis. Background fluff. Colours of Infinity. They are tricky. I do like the standard colour scheme I've settled on. No regrets at all for going for that. And I would say, obviously you can draw in your standard Chaos Space Marine stuff here. You'll see a lot of sort of standard Chaos Space Marine units here in the review, which I reckon I will focus on the unique Thousand Suns units here for this review. But so you can draw in your Chaos stuff, but then also you've got the unique sculpts here specifically for the Thousand Suns. I've tried to major on that as much as possible, just to keep my army nice and themed and fluffy, so I've stayed away from things like turquoise rhinos. There's some, I've got Malefics, but I've tried to put in as many unique Thousand Suns units as possible. Ranks of Rubric Marines always look incredibly impressive on the battlefield. So it'll take your time to paint them up. I've tried to stay away from Magnus as well, and it's sort of the obvious choice. Trying to do something a bit different. There he is, leading the Thousand Suns. And we're on to the rules now. You get an idea for your colour scheme. The gold, the turquoise, the blue colours running through. Lovely colour combination. Very, 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 very strong theme indeed. So, a great option to go for. Okay, so the first thing we've got here is your choice of secondaries. You can pick one of these. So it's a unique one here for the Thousand Suns. The theme for my army then is I do screens of infantry, and then in the core is all these Psyches that are hidden away because they're characters with less than 10 wounds, and then they hide away, and then they kick out all of their smite and psychic powers from behind the screen. And then I've got some marauding units that go out and cause trouble, namely 3 Malefics that blunder on into the opponent to disrupt and break things up. The opponent's got to try and chew their way through all of that, stop the Malefics, get through the infantry line, and then try and get to the core of Sorcerers. So that's the kind of theme here. So just looking at these to see if they will help with that idea. So it's like an aggressive Psyker. Yeah, you have to go aggressive in 9th edition, so that's the way I sort of play them. I don't try and outgun or outshoot the opponent, or necessarily do too much in the way of close combat, although I've definitely got units that can fight well enough with that. But I lean heavily on Psychic and try and play to that strength. And usually, as I said plenty of times before, if my Psychics can survive through to the end of the game, then usually the Thousand Suns will be doing well enough. So I'm looking for help with Psychic stuff, good screening, and then my other marauding units, the Malefics, also the Terminators. I'm looking for those to be good here. So choice of secondaries then. For Warcraft, there's Mutated Landscape. If you select this objective, then Thousand Suns Psyker units from your army can attempt the following psychic action as described in the 40k core book. So Mutate Landscape, psychic action, warp charge value of 4, so very likely it's going to go off. One Psyker unit from your army can attempt to perform this action in your psychic phase if it's within range of an objective marker that's not been mutated by your army. So you're trying to get to each objective marker with a psychic unit. If the psychic action is successfully completed, that objective marker is said to have been mutated by your army, and the warp charge value of the psychic action is increased by 1 for your army for the remainder of the battle. Score 3 victory points each time a unit from your army completed the Mutate Landscape psychic action. So pretty good. 3 points a time, moving around to objectives. You do need your Psychers to do it though. So bear that in mind, you need to be spread around the board to be doing it. And are your Psychers going to make it around to these places to do it? So maybe tricky enough. Might be easy to pick up 3, 6 points, but then to push on to others might prove difficult. No Mercy, No Respite, Wrath of Magnus. You can only select this objective if your opponent has 1 or more Psyker units in their army. Score 3 victory points at the end of the battle round if more enemy models than friendly models were destroyed this battle round as a result of psychic powers. Right, so it's Battle of the Psychers. Now that usually it's going to be very straightforward to do. I'm running maybe 3, 4, 5 dedicated Psychers plus other Psychers like Aspiring Sorcerers buried in units. And kick out a ton of smites. There's not many armies that are going to beat that. And so that one is looking very, very strong. 3 points per battle round, so you can max out on it. And very doable. Very, very doable indeed. So, very good so far. Burn Empires next for Shadow Operations. If you select this objective, that's very, very strong. Psychic heavy, you're getting a big reward for it. If you select this objective, then Thousand Suns... Sorry, because you're going to be doing this anyway. You're going to be chucking out damage in the psychic phase anyway. So you're just getting rewarded handsomely for what you're going to do anyway. So that's good. You can play your game and try and damage the opponent, grab primaries. Do that at the same time, pick up points. Shadow Operations, Burn Empires. If you select this objective, the Thousand Suns infantry units from your army can attempt the following action as described in the Warhammer 40k core book. So Burn Empires action. 1 or more Thousand Suns infantry units from your army can start to perform this action at the end of the movement phase. Each unit from your army that starts to perform this action must be in range of a different objective marker that is not within your deployment zone and has not been burned. The unit cannot start this action while there are enemy units, excluding aircraft, in range of the same objective marker. The action is completed at the start of your next command phase. So you've got to clear it, protect it, hold it, all the way through to the start of your next turn. This action is completed at the start of your next command phase or at the end of the battle, whichever comes first. If completed, the objective marker is said to have been burned. Score 4 victory points each time the unit from your army completed the burn action. So, pretty good. It seems like the objective will stay where it is, even though it's been burnt, I believe. Yep. And it's a different objective marker each time, which is fair enough. 4 points a time then. Not bad. And then Purge the enemy. Sorcerer's Prowess. Score 5 victory points at the end of the battle for each enemy Psyker character that was destroyed in the Psychic phase by a Thousand Suns Psyker unit from your army. And 3 victory points for each other enemy Psyker unit that was destroyed in the Psychic phase by a Thousand Suns Psyker unit from your army. Tricky. to actually destroy an entire unit. That one's quite difficult, I reckon. Wrath of Magnus seems to be the no-brainer to choose. But helpful enough. I think I'll be drawing from those, picking one of those here for my games. It's great to see these. It's great to see Thousand Suns get the full spectrum of rules here that we've been enjoying for the other codexes. It'll make a big difference, I think. So detachment abilities we're on to, and then we're going to move into the different cults that are available. So Thousand Suns detachment is one that only includes models with the Thousand Suns keyword, excluding models with the unaligned keyword. Thousand Suns detachments gain the Mere Servants and Jealous Tyrant abilities. Thousand Suns units in Thousand Suns detachments gain that Brotherhood of Sorcerers ability. Now this is quite good, this next bit. All Rubric Marines, Scarab Occult Terminators and Bray units, so that's like your Zangors, I believe, in Thousand Suns detachments gain the Objective Secured ability. So now your Terminators count as Objective Secured, which is excellent news. And then Brotherhood of Sorcerers. So this looks like it's army wide, +1 to psychic test taken for this unit. Incredible. If this unit is Arcana Astartes or Xangor, each model in this unit has a 5+ invuln save. So that's your Rubric Marines, your Terminators, your Zangors, all the 5+ invuln save, which is pretty much what they were before. And their Mere Servants. So you cannot include more Thousand Suns cultist units than you do Rubric Marines and Scarab Occult Terminator units in each Thousand Suns detachment in your army. So just reducing your spam ability. And then you cannot include more Bray units than you do Rubric Marines and Scarab Occult Terminator units in each Thousand Suns detachment in your army, so that wouldn't really affect me there. I'd be alright with that one. So for example, if detachment includes two Rubric Marines units and a Terminator unit, it can also include up to 3, so no problem. It's a very mild restriction compared to some of the other codexes. And then Jealous Tyrant, you can include a maximum of 1 Demon Prince unit in each Thousand Suns detachment in your army. So you can't, same with Space Marine Captains and so on. So that's fine, 1 Demon Prince, no problem. Plenty of HQ choices for Thousand Suns to choose from. So your limitations are next to nothing, really. No problem at all. So then you go on to Legion Command here. Interesting. If your army's battle forged and includes any Thousand Suns attachments, excluding auxiliary support, super heavy auxiliary, or fortification network attachments, then when you're mustering your army, you can upgrade any of the following Thousand Suns models in your army: your Exalted Sorcerer, Sorcerer and Terminator armor, Aspiring Sorcerer. So that's the model that's buried inside your Rubric Marine unit, for example, and your Scarab Occult Sorcerer as well. Ooh. Each time you upgrade one of the aforementioned models, select one of the abilities available to it from the table to the right, increasing the power rating of its unit as specified or points value. Each of the aforementioned models from your army can be upgraded in this manner once, and when you've selected an ability, you cannot select the same ability again, so you can draw from this multiple times as long as it's on different models and it's different abilities. These models and the units are still considered to be the same detachment for the purposes of any mission rules, or the same data sheet, sorry. Limit the number of times any particular data sheet can be included in your army. Okay. Oh, so it tells you what models can do what. So it's not a case of just pick one and add it to whoever you want, it's limited. So Exalted Sorcerers first of all. So Exalted Sorcerer can get the Rehatai ability. It's +1 power level or 25 points. This model can attempt to manifest 1 additional psychic power in your psychic phase. Okay, fine. Exalted Sorcerers can also take Paradigm of Change, add 1 to this model's wounds and attacks characteristic. Okay, +1 power, 15 points. Next one, Exalted Sorcerer, +2 power level, 35 points. That's a Dilettant. This model can be given 1 additional Sorcerer's Arcana relic, so second relic. This must be a relic they could have, but cannot be done if this model already has a relic. Each relic in your army must be unique. Right, so why not Why isn't this not available just as a stratagem? I don't know, but this model can be given one additional relic. It must be a relic they could have, but can be done if this model already... okay. This model must be a relic they could have, but can be done even if this model already has a relic. So you can stack up your relics. So you give 2 relics to one model if you really want to. It's costly though, 35 points. Then Sorcerer and Terminator Armor +1. Power and 15 points. Lethal Thrall. This model can attempt to perform a psychic action in its psychic phase instead of attempting to manifest 1 psychic power rather than any. Sorcerer and Terminator Armor +1. Power and 15 points. Witch Warrior. Each time this model manifests Smite or a Witchfire psychic power that inflicts mortal wounds on a dice roll, e.g. d3, or rolling 1d6 for each model in the unit, you can reroll one of the dice to determine the number of mortal wounds inflicted. Yeah, expensive enough. And then Sorcerer in Terminator Armor, at +1 power level or 10 points. Battle Psycho. Change this Psycho's ballistic skill, weapon skill to 2+, and attacks to 5. Okay, and then Aspiring Sorcerer, Scarab Occult Sorcerer, +1 at power level or 20 points. Ardent Automata. If this model unit is performing an action, this model's unit can shoot without that action failing. So yeah, I could see the value in that. You could stick it on a big blob of Terminators. Aspiring Sorcerer and Scarab Occult Sorcerer, +1 power level and 10 points. Protege. This model knows 1 additional psychic power from any discipline it has access to. Okay. And then Aspiring Sorcerer, Scarab Occult Sorcerer, +1, and then 15 points. Rites of Coalescence. In your command phase, another model in this model's unit regains all lost wounds. Ugh. But then only wounds, do they gain? It's not many. Okay, not so sure about those. I'd be too desperate to use them. Okay, so on to cults next. You sort of pick a cult for your detachment, what it's going to be. If your army's battle forged, great cult units, keywords, you'll see it there for unit entries. In Thousand Suns detachments gain access to the following cults of the Legion rules, provided every model in that detachment is drawn from a great cult. It's from the same great cult, such as a detachment is referred to as a cult of the Legion detachment. Each great cult has an associated cult psychic power, warlord trait, blah 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 blah. So it's here. So there's nothing else to say there. We'll just go straight on to these. So the first one is Cult of Mutation. So I usually run Cult of Time. It still looks pretty good, but we'll see if I can shift. Yeah, so it's sort of tactical review this. I'm just thinking of ways of building the army, tactics and so on as we go through this. So Cult of Mutation, psychic power, then warp reality. It's malediction. Its warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select 1 terrain feature within 24 and visible to the Psyche, and select 1 enemy unit within 3 of that terrain feature. To the start of the next psychic phase, halve that unit's move characteristic and subtract 1 from advanced and charge rolls made for it. It sounds semi-harmless enough, but that could be a game changer, that one. Really start mucking around with opponents' units, slowing them down, can be big. Yeah, okay, interesting. And then Warlord trait, Touch of Vicissitude, I think. Each time a melee attack is made by this Warlord, an unmodified hit roll of 6 inflicts a mortal wound on the target in addition to any other damage. Yeah. Maybe, yeah, that sounds okay. Looking for 6s. Sorceress Arcana, Exalted Mutation, Sorcerer model only, add 1 to the bearer's strength, toughness and attacks characteristics. So pretty good upgrade for him. Sorcerer model. So not bad. Cult of Mutation. Cult of Prophecy next. So Divine the Future, psychic power. Divine the Future is a warp charge value. Let's just see. Yep. So they've kept it the same. I just wanted to check. So I'm flicking through this. A lot of rules have pretty much stayed as they were. So each great cult has an associated cult psychic power. All Thousand Sons great cult psychics in the Cult of the Legion detachment know that psychic power, in addition to any other psychic powers. So these, you just get that. You add that to your army across all your psychic units. They get the psychic power. You're not having to divert away from other choices. So they've kept that way. That's excellent. It says warp charge value of 6 for Divine the Future. If manifested, roll 1d6 and set it to one side. So at the start of your next psychic phase, you can use that dice roll to replace a single dice roll for a hit roll, wound roll, advanced charge roll, psychic test, another witch test, or morale test for a Cult of Prophecy unit from your army. So that's pretty good. It's like a miracle dice really for Sisters of Battle. Yeah, fine, great, very, very useful. Very, very useful at any point in the game. Then Warlord trait, guided by the Whispers. Once per turn, when this Warlord is selected as the target of a charge, before the charge roll is made, after firing any Overwatch, it can make a normal move up to 6. Interesting. And Sorceress Arcana Oracle Brazier. In your command phase, select one Cult of Prophecy core or Cult Prophecy character unit within 6 inches of the bearer. To start the next command phase, each time the unit is selected to fight or shoot, it can reroll one hit roll, wound roll, and damage roll and resolve in the unit's attacks. So, yeah, that was okay. Okay, Cult of Time. So I'm hoping this one's still good. But it doesn't really matter, you can go for any of these. Cult of Time then. Time Flux. So Time Flux is a warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select one for any Cult of Time infantry unit within 6 inches of the Psyche. You can return one destroyed model to that unit to the battlefield with all of its wounds remaining, placing it in unit coherency. Yeah, I still really rate that. I think that's so useful, especially for Terminator units or models. Yeah, so like, Time Flux is great. Warlord trait, Immaterial Echo. So I guess what we've got going on here is 6 to manifest this, and then you've got your army wide +1. So 5, yeah, you got nice reliable psychic powers here. Does that mean Super Smite's more achievable? 11 or more becomes a 10 or more for Super Smite. That's something to bear in mind. In your psychic phase, this is Immaterial Echo. If this Warlord manifests a psychic power with a psychic test, a result of 9 or more, this Warlord can attempt to manifest one additional psychic power that phase. Attempting to manifest one additional psychic power, if the test is passed, it cannot be denied. Oof. Only one additional psychic power can be manifested as a result of this Warlord trait per phase. So, yep, useful enough. And then Hourglass of Manat. The first time this bearer is destroyed, keep it to one side. At the end of the current phase, set the bearer back up again as close as possible to its previous position and more than an inch away from enemy models with D3 wounds remaining. So the Hourglass of Manat remains pretty much, I think, as it was. I usually put that on my demon prints, much to the annoyance of everybody that faces him. So yeah, Cult of Time is looking good. Yeah, pick a key character and they're guaranteed to get back up again. Brilliant. The Cult of Scheming next. So it's seeded strategy for the psychic power. It's warp charge value of 7. If manifested, select one Cult of Scheming core unit within 24 of the Psyche. To the end of the turn, that unit is eligible to shoot and declare a charge in a turn in which it fell back. How interesting. Powerful enough. Very, very useful. Warlord trait, Grand Schemer. It's an aura. While they're in 3 inches of this Warlord, for any Cult of Scheming units, gain the objective secured ability. If they already have the objective secured ability, each model in the unit counts as 2 models for the purpose of determining who controls the objective markers. Great. And then Sorceress Arcana, Caquilphals Fiorum. Once per battle in any phase, if the bearer is on the battlefield, it can use its thing. If it does, select 1000 Suns stratagem to the end of the phase, or until after you've used that stratagem, whichever comes sooner, reduce the command point cost to 0. Right, so helpful enough. Cult of Magic is next. So we've got Astral Blast. It's warp charge value of 6. If manifested, the closest enemy unit within 12 inches is visible to that Psyche suffers D3 mortal wounds, and each other unit within 3 inches of that unit suffers a mortal wound. Yeah. Yeah, nice. Yeah, pretty good. I think I was running this previously with Disco Inferno on the Disc of Zinch, zooming around and firing off Astral Blast was pretty good. But I was combining it with the +1 to the damage ability. We'll see if that's available as we read through the book here. Warlord trait, Devastating Sorcery. Oh, no, they've changed it. I think Devastating Sorcery previously was the +1 mortal wound for damage. It's now once per psychic phase when you attempt to manifest either Smite or a Witchfire psychic power of this warlord, you can reroll that psychic test. Ugh, okay. Sorcerer's Arcana, Arcane Focus. If your army's a cabal of sorcerers, page 71, the bearer has the following ability: Arcane Focus. At the start of your psychic phase, select one friendly Cult of Magic psychic unit within 6 inches of the bearer. To the end of this phase, each time you would use a Karbalistic Ritual on this unit, it costs 1 fewer Cabal points. Cover Cabal points later on. Okay, so there's 4 more cults here. And then we're on to Stratagems. So, Cult of Knowledge. Empiric Trespass psychic power. Walk charge value of 6. If manifested, select one enemy unit within 24 of the Psyker. Doesn't need to be in line of sight. To the start of the next psychic phase, each time an attack is made against that unit by a model from a friendly Cult of Knowledge unit, you can reroll wound rolls of 1. Yeah, okay. Warlord trait, Ardent Scholar. Each time a psychic test is taken with this warlord, you can reroll dice rolls of 1. Ugh. Yeah, again, not that amazing. And then in Caledon's Cry. Wait. Just to compare, I mean, there's gems and there's ones that are not that great. So, for example, this one here, Ardent Scholar. Psychic test is taken with the warlord, you can reroll any ones. But compared to the Hourglass of Banat, guaranteed to get back up with a whole model. That's some difference. And one's a trait, one's a relic, but it's just to show you the difference. Sorcerer's Arcana. So we've got model equipped with Warp Flame pistol only. This relic replaces that pistol. So you get range 12, now you double the range. Pistol D6, which obviously auto hits. Strength 6, -3, 1 damage. Each time attack is made with this weapon, it's auto hits on the target. So pretty good pistol. Again, pistol, it can be used in close combat. Cult of Change. Psychic power is Manifestation. Walk charge value of 6. If manifested, select one enemy unit within 18 inches of the Psyker. To start of the next psychic phase, subtract 1 for that unit's leadership and attacks characteristic. So, yeah, not bad. And then Warlord trait, Fickle Nature. You can reroll charge rolls for the Warlord, and is eligible to shoot and charge in a turn in which it fell back, and that makes him pretty good. Fickle Nature. Yeah, be very useful in like a Demon Prince, for example. Then your relic is Capricious Crest. Once per battle, when a psychic test is taken from a model within 18 inches of the bearer, you can change the result of the psychic test as follows. If that model is from your army, you can change any roll of 1 to a roll of a 6. If that model is from your opponent's army, you can change any roll of a 6 to a 1. Okay. Once per battle round you can do that. Next, Cult of Duplicity. See, I like Cult of Time because your Time Flux, for example, restoring models, it's going to help multiple units. And you can call upon it as and when you need it, depending on which unit's taking damage. So like Rubric Marines and Terminators, where the damage is, just play that psychic power and start putting models back on the board. I think that's really good. Cult of Duplicity. Sorcerer's Facade. It's walk charge value of 8. If manifested, select one friendly Cult Duplicity Infantry or Cult Duplicity Monster unit within 6 inches of the Psyker. Remove that unit from the battlefield and set it back up on the battlefield more than 9 inches away from any models, so it's a deep strike ability. Yeah, it's tougher to make it go off, but it's very, very useful. Warlord trait is Master Misinformator. Start the first battle round before the first turn begins. Select up to D3 Cult Duplicity units, excluding vehicles from your army. Remove them from the battlefield and then redeploy them. So, yep, good enough. And then Perfidious Tome. In your command phase, if the bearer is on the battlefield, you can read from the tome. If it does, roll 1d6. On a 1, your opponent gains a command point. On a 4 or more, you gain a command point. And then Cult of Manipulation. Psychic power, Attempted Possession. There's a warp charge value of 5. If manifested, select one enemy unit within 18 inches of the Psyche. The unit suffers a mortal wound. To the start of your next psychic phase, each time a psychic test is taken for that unit, subtract 2 from that test. Okay, and then Beguiling Influence, Warlord trait. Each time an attack is made against this Warlord, the hit roll, the wound roll, and the damage roll cannot be re-rolled. So shutting down re-rolls against him, which would be helpful enough. And then Sorceress Arcana, it's Surface Mirror. Each time the bearer is selected to fight, instead of fighting, you can select one enemy infantry model with a leadership of 9 or less. There's within engagement range of it. If you do so, the selected enemy model immediately makes close combat attacks against its own unit. Until it has resolved these attacks, it's treated as being a model from your army for all rules purposes. If as a result of these attacks the enemy model destroys its own unit, the bearer counts as having destroyed that unit for all rules purposes. Wow. Okay, so we're on to stratagems. Look at this. 4 pages of stratagems for the 1000 Sun. So, and stratagems were all over the place in the previous codex, and different supplements and bits coming out, but now it's all tight and within the one book, so excellent news. Faded Mutation then, 1 command point. Use your stratagem in the fight phase and the 1000 Suns Chaos Spawn unit from army selected to fight. At the end of that phase, instead of rolling for that unit's mutated beyond reason ability, you can select the unit. At the end of the phase, each time you determine the number of attacks a model that unit can make, add 1 to the result. The next is in Ensorcelled Infusion, 1 CP. Use your stratagem in your shooting phase and the 1000 Suns vehicle model from your army within 6 inches of a friendly Arcana started Psyche unit is selected to shoot. At the end of the phase, improve the armor penetration characteristic of the range weapons that model is equipped with by 1. Okay, so that could really help out if you've got lots of shots. And then Unwavering Phalanx, 1 or 3 CP. Use your stratagem in your opponent's shooting phase. When a 1000 Suns Rubric Marines or Terminator's unit from your army is selected as the target of an attack. At the end of that phase, each time an attack is made against that unit, subtract 1 for the damage characteristic of that attack to max minimum 1. If it's 5 or fewer models, then it's 1 CP, or otherwise it's 3 CP. Okay, and then Wrath of the Wronged. Use the stratagem in your shooting phase. When an Arcana, a starter's infantry unit from your army is selected to shoot, or in the fight phase, when an Arcana, a starter's infantry unit from your army is selected to fight. At the end of that phase, each time a model in the unit makes an attack, add 1 to the attack's wound roll. So yeah, it'd be very helpful, but it is going to cost you 2 CP for that one. Infernal Fusillade, 1 CP. Use your stratagem in your shooting phase. When an Arcana, a starter's infantry unit from your army is selected to shoot. At the end of the phase, each time a model in that unit shoots a bolt weapon, make 1 additional attack with that weapon. For example, a model shooting an Inferno Combi Bolter at a target within half range gets 5 attacks in total. That's only 1 CP, so useful enough. Especially like your deep striking in, you need to max out in your Dakar, then just play Infernal Fusillade. Good job. Inhuman Savagery. Use the stratagem in the fight phase when a Xango unit from your army is selected to fight. At the end of that phase, each time model unit makes a melee attack, you can reroll the hit roll. So re-rolling hit roll is going to cost you 2 CP for that. Okay. Then Vengeance for Prospero, 1 CP. So there's a number of, some pretty good ones, not too bad. Looking for some tasty nuggets here. Vengeance for Prospero, 1 CP. Use the stratagem in the fight phase and a 1000 Suns unit from your army selected to fight. Up to the end of the phase, each time model unit makes a melee attack against a Space Wolves unit, you can reroll the hit roll and the wound roll. Not bad. But obviously specific to Space Wolves. Great Sorcerer next, 1 CP. Use the stratagem in your psychic phase, select 1000 Suns Psyche model from your army. You can manifest an extra power, so great, it's good to see that in there. Malignant Pact, 1 CP. Use the stratagem in your command phase, an Infernal Master model from your army is unsuccessful in making a pact. Select 1000 Suns Infantry or 1000 Suns Cavalry unit within 6 inches. The unit suffers a mortal wound and the pact is successful. So good backup, that one, and it's going to cost you just the 1 CP. So that one, you see the model later on and the abilities, but that's very useful. That's very, very helpful, that one. Warped Regeneration, 1 CP. Use your stratagem in your psychic phase after manifesting a psychic power of 1000 Suns unit from your army with an unmodified psychic test of 9 or more. So yeah, it's quite doable. Unmodified those, so pluses and so on don't count. If the unit contains a model that has lost any wounds, the model is healed and regains up to D3 lost wounds. Each model can only be healed once per turn. Otherwise, if any models in that unit that have been destroyed, you can return one of those models to the battlefield with all of its wounds remaining, placing it in coherency. 1 CP for that one, so good to see that one there as well. Next one, Unholy Sorcerers. 1 CP. Use your stratagem at the end of the psychic phase. Select on 1000 Suns Psychic unit from your army. Select on psychic power from these disciplines it has access to. That psychic power replaces one psychic power that unit knows. So you could swap around powers if you need to, which can be useful enough. Biomechanical Mutation, 1 CP. Use your stratagem in any phase. When 1000 Suns vehicle model from your army would lose a wound as a result of a mortal wound. So it's a 5+ feel no pain against mortal wounds, so yeah, helpful enough. Vehicles. Metaphysical Focus, 1 CP. Use your stratagem in your psychic phase after attempting to perform a psychic action with an Arcana Astartes psychic unit from your army. The unit can attempt to manifest one psychic power this phase. And then Psychic Dominion, 1 CP again. Use your stratagem in your opponent's psychic phase when 1000 Suns psychic unit from your army selected to attempt to deny a psychic power, as long as that unit is within 6 inches of another friendly 1000 Suns psychic unit that could also attempt to deny that psychic power. When taken to deny the witch test, roll 1 additional d6. Okay, and then we're on to Malevolent Machine Spirit for 2 CP. Use your stratagem in your command phase. Select on 1000 Suns Machine Spirit model from your army. Until the start of your next command phase, the model is considered to have its full wounds remaining for the purpose of determining which characteristic on its profile to use. Yeah. Costs you 2 CP though, but you can turn a struggling vehicle and it can act as if it's at full strength. That could be quite crucial. Yeah. Machine Spirit. I don't think they get it. I'm just wondering if the Mortal Fiends get it. No, don't think so. Okay. Oh, that could be, let me think now, that could be something like a Chaos Land Raider, maybe. Master of the Immaterium, 1 CP. Use a stratagem in your psychic phase. 1000 Suns psychic unit from your army would suffer perils of the warp. The unit does not suffer perils of the warp. So again, that was in previous publications, and that's good to see that they're very, very useful, because perils is going to come up a fair bit in games. Sorcerer's Might, 1 CP. Use a stratagem in the fight phase and 1000 Suns Sorcerer, 1000 Suns Exalted Sorcerer unit from your army is equipped with a force stave excluding relics is selected to fight. To the end of that phase, the damage characteristic of that force stave is changed to D3+1. So, yeah, it's helpful enough. Could be trying to pick off a character, get those wounds flowing in. Next is High Acolytes, 1 CP. Use your stratagem before the battle when you're mustering your army. If your warlord has the 1000 Suns keyword, select one Arcana Astartes character model from your army, exclude named characters, and determine a warlord trait for that model. So it's just an extra warlord trait. Sorceress Arcana, an extra relic, I'm guessing. And Aspiring Magister is next. Use your stratagem before the battle. When you're mustering your army, select on 1000 Suns Aspiring Sorcerer model from your 1000 Suns Scarab Occult Sorcerer model in your army, so either Rubric or Terminator. That model can have one of the following Sorcerer's Arcana relics, even if they are not a character. Coruscator, just lists them all. So access for those kind of models to get a hold of relics. Schemes of Change, 1 CP. Use your stratagem. You can only use a stratagem if your army only contains 1000 Suns attachments. Use a stratagem if you're playing a mission that requires you to select either secondary objectives or agendas. After both players have revealed their selections, you can select one of your secondary objectives and replace it with a different one. All the normal rules for selecting secondary objectives and agendas apply, and so on. So a bit of tactical stuff going on there. Risen Rubric 2CP. Use this stratagem during deployment when setting up a Rubric Marines unit from your army. The unit can be set up anywhere on the battlefield that's more than 9 inches away from the enemy deployment zone and enemy models. You can use this stratagem once. You really shift your Rubric Marines if you need to. It'll cost you 2 CP to do it. So I'm seeing a lot of the helpful stratagems are still here. Ones that I was a fan of and found very helpful in games. And then the other stuff all seems okay. It's not bad. Webway Infiltration, 2 or 3 CP. You can set up 1,000 Suns Infantry unit from your army in the Webway, the Deep Strike in, or you can go for 2 units to do that, but it will cost you 3 CP to do it. Implacable Guardians, 1 CP. Use this stratagem at the start of your opponent's shooting phase. Select one Arcana and start his character model from your army, excluding Magnus the Red. To the end of the phase, whilst that model is within 3 inches of any friendly Rubric Marines or Scarab Occult Terminator units, enemy models cannot target that model with ranged weapons. Yeah, helpful. Coruscating Beam, 3 CP for this one. Use the stratagem in your command phase. If 1,000 Suns Wall from your armies on the battlefield, select one point on the battlefield and place a marker on that point. At the start of your next command phase, place another objective marker on the battlefield within 9 inches of the centre of the marker, and draw a line between the centre of each of the markers. Roll 1d6 for each unit that would pass over or through, adding 1 if the unit being rolled for contains 11 or more models, and subtracting 1 if it's a character. On a 4+, the unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. The markers are then removed. You're going to use the stratagem once. So yeah, if you can line up a shot, then it's worth it. Vector Strike, 1 CP. Use the stratagem in your movement phase. After making a normal move with 1,000 Suns Helldrake model from your army, select one enemy unit this model moved across and is not a character with wounds characteristic of 9 or less, and roll 1d6. On a 2+, the unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. If that unit can fly, on a 2+, it suffers 3 mortal wounds instead. Okay, interesting. And then these ones here, in Inescapable Forewarning, 2 CP. Use a stratagem at the end of the reinforcement setup of your opponent's movement phase. If an enemy unit was set up as reinforcements within 18 inches of the Psyche unit from your army, select one core unit from your army that's within 6 inches of that Psyche and not within engagement range, so it can shoot as if it were a shooting phase, but its models can only target a single eligible enemy unit that was set up as reinforcements. So it's pretty good though. Nice range on that as well, range 18, which is nice. Selfless Automata, 2 CP. 2 CP for Selfless Automata. Use a stratagem in the Heroic Intervention set up with your opponent's charge phase. Select one enemy unit that finished the charge move within engagement range of any Arcana status character units this phase. So this is interesting maybe for my characters, of plenty of them, and I'm always trying to protect them. One friendly Rubric Marines or Scarab Occult Terminators unit that is within 12 of that enemy unit and not within engagement range of any enemy models can perform a Heroic Intervention. So each model in that unit can move up to 2d6 instead of 3, and does not have to finish their move closest to the closest enemy model. Instead, at least one model from that unit must end that move within engagement range of the selected enemy unit, and no models from that unit can end their move within engagement range of any other enemy units. So just clarifying, making sure that people don't take advantage of that. But a chance to do a big stretch of a Heroic Intervention to help out a character. Nice. Yeah, useful. Definitely useful enough. Empiric Reservoir, 1 CP. Use the stratagem at the start of your psychic phase. Select one model from your army within 6 inches of a friendly Mutalith Vortex Beast. If that model generates carbon points, generate D3 additional. Slow and Purposeful. Use your stratagem in your movement phase and the Arcana infantry that count as remaining stationary. It's useful for your Rubric Marines with their Inferno Bolters, for example. Count as having remained still. Etheric Saturation, 1 CP. Use a stratagem in your psychic phase and a Psyche character from your army is within 12 inches of a friendly mutilated vortex beast model, is selected to manifest psychic powers. Instead of manifesting one psychic power with that model, it is healed and regains up to D3 more lost wounds. Each model can only be healed once per turn. And then Soul Reap, 1 CP. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase and 1,000 Suns unit from your army selected to shoot. To the end of the phase, Soul Reaper cannons, interesting, in that unit are equipped with, gain the following ability. Each time an attack is made with this weapon against a unit that contains 11 or more models, make 2 hit rolls instead of 1. Ha! God. And the Soul Reaper cannons improved like a fair bit, and now there's a stratagem for that weapon against hordes. So you're looking at like 10 shots against hordes. God. Soul Reaper cannon. Wow. Warp Flame Gargoyles. So where's one of my favourite stratagems to help out vehicles to get the reroll, Malefic to reroll hit rolls and wound rolls? I think that's gone. Warp Flame Gargoyles is here. 1 CP. Use the stratagem at the start of the fight phase. Select one Arcana start his vehicle model from your army, excluding Hellbrutes. Roll 1d6 for each other model that is within engagement range of that model, subtracting 2 if the result being rolled for is a character or vehicle. Unit on a 4+ unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. Yep. Yeah. 4+ D3. Yeah, if you find yourself in the right spot for that. Arcane Smokescreen. Minus 1 to hit rolls, just the usual Smokescreen rules, I believe. The Malefic Scroll is 1 CP for that one. Malefic Scroll is 1 CP. Use your stratagem in your psychic phase and 1,000 Sun Psycho unit from your army, excluding Magnus the Red. Manifests the Smite psychic power. This manifestation inflicts 3 mortal wounds instead of D3 or D6. So yeah, just as you need it. Well, just want the 3 mortals to come through. So that's stratagems. Nothing that I've probably missed stuff. And by all means leave it in the comment section, but not really blown away. There's some helpful ones that have followed through from the previous codex, which is good news. But some of the others, just, they're okay, but nothing too strong here. But no doubt there'll be great combos you can go for with, with relics or with stratagems being used. We're going to warlord traits here, bearing in mind the ones that I currently use, and then we'll see what else is available and see what the better options are. So Arrogant Surveillance here. Number 1, you can reroll deny the witch tests for the warlord. If the army is a cabal of sorcerers, this warlord can benefit from 1 additional Karbalistic Ritual in each of your psychic phases. So that's that one. And his Seeker After Shadows, number 2. Each time this warlord attempts to perform a psychic action, roll 1 additional d6 and discard 1d6 when taking the psychic test. If your army is cabal of sorcerers, each time you generate a cabal point. If this warlord is on the battlefield, you can generate an additional cabal point for that. Undying Form. Each time an attack is allocated to this warlord, subtract 1 for the damage characteristic to a minimum of 1. Okay. So I'm just looking at named characters. Magnus gets Arrogant Surveillance, Undying Form, and Lord of Forbidden Law. So he gets 3. And then Araman gets Otherworldly Presence, which is coming up here. So Lord of Forbidden Law, your warlord knows 1 additional psychic power. If your warlord is Magnus the Red, it knows all the psychic powers from the discipline it has access to. Like 6 psychic powers. Then Otherworldly Presence. So this is one I usually go for, but I think it's been changed. So it's 3+ Invuln save, but they've changed it to once per game. I still think it's worth going for because usually it's like a key point in the game where you need that Invuln save. So if you can use it for that key moment, then it's not so bad. But there's that one. And then Aphostride, add 3 to the move of the warlord. It can declare a charge in the turn in which it fell back. And each time this warlord makes a normal move, charge move, an advance or falls back, it counts or moves as though it can fly. Okay. Then we've got Infernal Pact. See this new rules here. So what we have here then, before the battle, generate pacts for Infernal Master models from your army that no Infernal Pacts used in the table below. If you can either roll 1d6 to generate each pact randomly, or you can select which pact the Infernal Master knows. So I think this runs like a chaplain. So here's your Infernal Master. We'll come back to him a bit later on, but so you've got Psyche, usual rules, and then you've got pacts. So this model knows 2 pacts from the Infernal Pacts on page 55, which is what we're looking at the moment. In your command phase, if this model is on the battlefield, it can attempt to make a pact it knows that has not already been attempted by a friendly model this battle round. Roll 1d6 and a 3+ is successful. So it's very much like a chaplain, and you're getting these abilities here. Yeah. So if this pact is successful, usually it's a 3+. There is that stratagem, I believe, where you can take a mortal wound and make it go off, I think. If this pact is successful, select one enemy unit within 30 inches and visible, but it's a nice good stretch of range on that one. If that unit contains 6 or more models, it suffers 1 mortal wound. Until your start of your next command phase, subtract 2 from the advance and charge rolls made for that unit. So that's that one. Then there's Fires of the Abyss. If this pact is successful, the closest enemy unit within 15 inches and visible to the Infernal Master suffers D3 mortal wounds. Okay. See, this isn't psychic phase, I don't think. This is command phase. And he's getting a chance to cause even more trouble. Capering Imps. If this pact is successful, select one enemy unit within 24 and visible to this Infernal Master. To the start of your next command phase, the unit cannot receive the benefits of cover, cannot fire, overwatch, and cannot set to defend. Okay, and then Diabolic Savant. If the pact is successful, at the start of your next psychic phase, if your army is a cabal of the Sorcerers, you gain 1 additional cabal point. If you're in your next psychic phase, you can reroll psychic tests taken for this Infernal Master. And then Glimpse of Eternity. If this pact is successful until the start of your next command phase, you can reroll 1 dice you've rolled. You cannot reroll any rerolls. You cannot reroll any rolls related to the mission. Okay, but yeah, it's helpful to have that on standby to use. And then Malefic Maelstrom. If this pact is successful, select one friendly Thousand Suns unit within 24, invisible to the Infernal Master. To the start of your next command phase, each time model unit makes a ranged attack, add 1 to the strength and characteristic of that attack. Yeah, it's very similar sort of chaplain style here. So relics, again, 2 full pages of relics. Thousand Suns, a good spread of options here. Previous Codex it was a page. They've doubled it, and this could be very, very useful here. There could be some real good ones going on, because Thousand Suns characters are pretty good. Demon Prince, you can equip them quite well, and even the Exalted Sorcerers, for example, 5 attacks, 5 wounds now, pretty good. So we'll see what we can come up with here. So Seer's Bane. So Force Sword or the Prosperine Kopesh replaces it, so you get +2 strength, AP -4, D3 damage. Each time attack is made with this weapon against a Psyche unit. This weapon has a strength characteristic of ×2. Each time attack is made with this weapon is allocated to a Psyche unit. Its damage characteristic of D6. Okay, pretty good. It's not bad at all. Off to a good start. And Umbrellific Crystal. Once per battle in your command phase, you can select the bearer or one friendly Thousand Suns infantry unit within 6 inches of the bearer and remove it from the battlefield. So it's not both. So the character can stay where he is and just send a unit away if you want to. And it's a redeploy, 9 inches of deep striking, more than 9 inches away from enemy models. Helm of the Demon's Eye. Each time your opponent uses a stratagem, if the bearer is on the battlefield, roll 1d6 and a 5+, you gain a command point. That's very useful. Should be able to harvest a few for that. The Coruscator. Its Inferno Bolt Pistol replaces that. Range 18, pistol 3, strength 5 -2 and 2 damage. So Pretty good pistol. The Athenian Scrolls. Exalted Sorcerer only. Once to a battle in your Psychic phase and the bearer is selected to manifest Psychic powers, it can read from the Athenian Scrolls. If it does, select one Psychic power the bearer knows from Discipline of Change or Discipline of Vengeance. For the rest of the battle, each time the bearer attempts to manifest that Psychic power, roll 1 additional d6 and discard 1 d6 for the Psychic powers. For that power's Psychic test. And then fire. That's impossible. There's some words that are hard to pronounce, but that's ridiculous. Find a guide. Thydergyre. Thryddergyre. I don't know. Sounds like a Welsh train station. It's very difficult. Model equipped with a disc of Zinch only. The Thydergyre. The bearer is eligible to manifest Psychic powers in a turn in which it fell back and declare a charge in a turn in which it advanced. Nice. Each time the bearer makes a consolidation move, it can move up to 6 inches and doesn't have to end the move closer to the nearest enemy model. Wow, right, so you can really play around with some tricks with that one. Typical. It has to be one that's hard for me to pronounce in games. That's good. So probably will be taking that on Disco Inferno. Right, okay. Next. Egligan's Aurorary. At the start of each of your command phases, you can select one enemy unit that is visible to the bearer. If you do, then until the end of the turn, the bearer has the following ability: Fated Doom Aura. While a friendly 1,000 tons core unit is within 6 inches of the bearer, each time model that unit makes an attack against the enemy unit that you selected, you can ignore any or weapon skill modifiers, ballistic skill modifiers, hit roll modifiers, wound roll modifiers, and abilities that reduce the damage characteristic of the attack. Yeah, there's another one that's not bad at all. Look at that ability though. Ignore abilities that reduce the damage. Wow. Great, I mean, very useful against like Death Guard, for example. Okay, so the Chronos Tutorum, model with a Warlord trait only. Once for battle in your command phase, you can give this model 1 additional Warlord trait. You must select an extra Warlord trait. Scalox Talon. Next, Force Stave. It gets ×2 strength now. AP 0 though, and 2d3 damage. Odd one. Yeah. No minus on the AP though, which is strange. And then even what tip that would be if it was AP -1, just a little bit. Conviving Plate. Arcana Astartes only. The bearer has a save characteristic of 2+. In the fight phase, each time an enemy model within engagement range of the bearer selects targets for its attacks, it can only roll up to half of its close combat attacks against the bearer. Next, Warpweave Mantle. Each time the bearer is selected as the target of a charge, it can an unmodified charge roll of 9 or more. If that charge always fails. Okay, and then each time a psychic test is made for the bearer, if it has lost any wounds, add 1 to the psychic test. And then Paradoxical Chatterfowl. Infantry model only. At the start of the fight phase, select one enemy model within 3 inches of the bearer and 1d3. Then start of the next psychic phase, reduce that model's weapon skill and ballistic skill characteristic by the result, and subtract the result from psychic tests made for that model. Okay. Next, the Change Wrought Chalice. Xango Shaman only. The bearer knows 1 additional power from the Discipline of Change or the Discipline of Vengeance. And then the Incandium Force Stave. It gets oh wow, oh brilliant, it's shooting and melee, very cool. Yeah, fantastic. So range 12, assault d6, strength 5 -2 1 damage. Not that great for shooting, but and then in melee it's +3 strength with -1 d3 damage. And it is auto hits with that shooting weapon, so d6 auto hits, but very random, from 1 to 6 hits coming through. And then Pentacharic Armour, Infernal Master. He knows an additional pact. And once per turn, the first time a saving throw is failed for the bearer, it's damage of 0, so that can help out. The Prism of Echoes. Each time the bearer successfully manifests a blessing psychic power, double the range of that power's effects. And then the Stave Abominus. So you get with that one +3 strength, a -1 and 1 damage. Each time attack is made with this weapon, make 2 hit rolls instead of 1. So all of a sudden you could get an Exalted Sorcerer of 10 attacks coming through. But it's not D3 damage though. Shame. Would have made it excellent. Okay, so yeah, there's some great relics in there. 2 pages to choose from. Be some great combinations. So good news for Thousand Suns here. Okay, so psychic powers next. So I think previously there were 3 disciplines. Discipline of change, discipline of there was 3. There were 3, and so you had 6 in each. It looks like what they've done here. Discipline of change, discipline of vengeance. You've got 2 disciplines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So they've split the third one up, and you've got 9 to choose from here. 9 to choose from here. It's interesting that. So Tzeentch's Firestorm. Here we go. These are ones I'm very familiar with. We'll see if they are hit, miss, or maybe. So it's a warp charge value of 6. So very, very straightforward to make that one go off. Easier, I think, than it was before. If manifested, select one enemy unit with an 18 and visible to the Psyche. Roll 9d6. Each 6 enemy unit suffers a mortal wound. If the result of the psychic test was an unmodified 9 or more, the unit suffers 1 mortal wound for each roll of a 5+ instead. Okay, Tzeentch's Firestorm is going to be one to go for. Wow, great, brilliant, brilliant, very, very good. Glamour of Tzeentch. It's a warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select 1,000 Suns unit with an 18 of the Psyche. Doesn't have to be visible. To start of the next psychic phase, each time an attack is made against the units, -1 from the attack's hit roll, so that can prove useful enough. Doombolt next. Warp charge value of 6. I think it used to be 8. So brilliant. If manifested, the closest enemy unit of an 18, visible to the Psyche, suffers 3 mortal wounds. Not D3, but 3. Doombolt's brilliant. So it really is going to be a case for my army, I think, of trying to spread out and take the widest variety of psychic powers possible just to max out, not stacking them up. So I'm losing out with psychic abilities, but to spread them around to try and manifest as many as possible. Temporal Manipulation, warp charge value of 5, so very, very easy for this one to go off. If manifested, select 1,000 Suns model, excluding vehicles, within 12 inches of the Psyche. That model is healed and regains D3 lost wounds, and each model can only be healed once per turn. So there's limitations of that one now. Oh boy, not vehicles. Okay, to think about that one. Weaver of Fates, a blessing, warp charge value of 7. Select one friendly 1,000 Suns unit with an 18. And until the start of the next psychic phase, it's a 4+ in fun save. So yeah, helpful enough with Weaver of Fates, pretty much as it was before. Baleful Devolution next. Witchfire, warp charge value of 8. If manifested, select one enemy unit of an 18 invisible to the Psyche. It contains 6 or more models. Roll a number of d6 equal to the result of the test. If it's for each 6, it's for each 6 that's rolled, it's D3 mortal wounds, not 1 mortal wound, but D3. That could prove, yeah, ouch. You'd put that on a reliable Psyche. If that goes off, that could cause horrific damage if you roll well. If you've got a load of 6s all of a sudden, ugh. Okay, Cacodemonic Curse. Warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select one unit of an 18 to the Psyche. To the start of the next psychic phase, subtract 1 for the strength, characteristic, and range weapons models that unit are equipped with. And Empiric Flux. Warp charge value of 5. If manifested, select one friendly Arcana starter's unit within 12 inches of the Psyche to the start of to the end of the turn. Add 1 to the strength characteristic of all the warp flamers, warp flame pistols, and heavy warp flamers. and any relics that replace one of these weapons that models in the unit are equipped with. Okay, that's the theme you're going for. And then Perplex, Malediction, Warp Charge value of 7. If manifested, select one enemy unit within 24 of the Psyche to the start of the next Psychic phase. Each time a unit is selected to shoot, units more than 24 inches away cannot be selected as the target for ranged attacks. Yeah, it's all pretty good. Plenty of options here. Another 9 to come. Discipline of Vengeance, Gaze of Hate. Gaze of Fate. I'm sure it was Gaze of Fate before. It's Gaze of Hate now. Warp Charge value of 5. If manifested, select one enemy unit of an 18, visible to the Psyche, and roll 3d3. Roll 3d6 for each roll of 4+. It's a mortal wounds, same as it was before. Twist of Fate. Warp Charge value of 8. If manifested, select one enemy unit within 12 inches of the Psyche, and to the start of the next Psychic phase, model that unit cannot use any invuln saves. Ouch, ouch, you can shut the invuln save down. That was the old Death Hex. It's gone now, it's not in here, but that's the replacement for it. Dark Blessing, Warp Charge value of 6. If manifested, select one any model within 6 inches of visible to the Psyche, roll 1d6. If the result is greater than the target's toughness, it's d3 plus 3 mortal wounds. Yeah, against the right target, like Guardsman for example. Presage, Warp Charge value of 7. If manifested, select one friendly Thousand Suns unit within 18 inches of the Psyche to start of next Psychic phase. Each time a model in that unit makes an attack, have 1 to attack's hit roll. And then Swelled by the Warp. It's a Warp Charge value of 6. If manifested, select one friendly Thousand Suns model within 12 inches of the Psyche. To start of the next Psychic phase, add 2 to that model's strength characteristic and 1 to its attacks. Yeah, it's Thousand Suns model. Great. So yeah, I can put it on Malefic, for example. Or a Demon Prince. Yep. Nice. Is that the replacement for? It's similar to Diabolic Strength in the previous book. Temporal Surge, Warp Charge value of 7. If manifested, select on friendly Thousand Suns infantry or cavalry or beasts unit within 6 inches of the Psyche. That unit can make a normal move. So they've been careful to stop the Malefic from doing that. That's the end of the double move from him. Infantry, beasts, cavalry can do it. Okay, and then maybe we'll look it up. The Malefic's not a cavalry unit. We'll just have a quick look. I doubt it. You never know, you never know. It's not nice, of course, it's a vehicle demon engine. Empiric Guidance. So Warp Charge value of 4. If manifested, select one friendly Thousand Suns unit within 12 inches of the Psyche. To the start of the next Psychic phase, add 6 inches to the range characteristic of rapid fire and heavy weapons that unit is equipped with. So yeah, it could be useful enough, that one to go off. Psychic Stalk. So Warp Charge value of 5. If manifested, select one enemy unit that is not a vehicle, monster or character unit within 18 inches of visible to the Psyche. Roll 2d6. If the result is greater than the unmodified leadership, then one model in that unit is slain. Slayer model. Yeah, it could be damaging enough against the right target. And then Desecration of Worlds is a Warp Charge value of 7. If manifested, select one enemy unit within 24 invisible to the Psyche. To start the next Psychic phase, each time that unit makes a normal move, advances, falls back or makes a charge roll or charge move, roll 1d6 for each model in that unit. For each roll of a 6, the unit suffers a mortal wound. So that's the psychic powers all done there. For the Thousand Suns, plenty of variety. I would probably major on mortal wound output, so selecting multiple powers that can help me do that. Doombolt, for example, Zinch's Firestorm, fantastic powers available, so I think that's quite doable. And then some supporting psychic powers, but I want to kick out damage in the psychic phase, so I want to lean on those more heavily. So Crusade, I don't play Crusade, James does. I'll move through that section. Nice, it's all contained within the one book now, so brilliant job. So moving on to rules for data sheets here. We've got the Karbalistic Rituals rules across here as well. So it talks about keywords here. It's like chapters, like Blood Angels or Ultramarines for Space Marines to gain the abilities. So there's the different cults, just making sure it's all a great cult keyword throughout your detachment and list. Then there's war gear. So abilities then, more abilities here. Malicious volleys. Instead of following the normal rules for rapid fire weapons, models in this unit gain rapid fire bolt weapons, make double the number of attacks in the following, if any of the following apply. Shooting model's target is within half range, as per usual. The shooting model is infantry and its unit remains stationary in the improvement movement phase, or if it's terminated. So terminators are going to get these extra shots coming through at whatever range, so that's the continuing good news for them. You've got Teleport Strike, which is deep striking more than 9 inches away from any models. And then Sorcerous Master, each time a psychic power is manifested by this unit, each time this unit would attempt to perform a psychic action, and each time this unit would deny the witch, measure distances and draw a line of sight from this unit's aspiring sorcerer or scarab occult sorcerer model. If enemy units have any abilities that require measuring distances or drawing line of sight to a psychic units, to do so this unit's aspiring sorcerer or scarab occult sorcerer model. Okay, so Karbalistic Rituals. So if every unit from your army, excluding underlined units, has the Thousand Suns keyword, your army becomes a cabal of sorcerers. At the start of your psychic phase, if your army is a cabal of sorcerers, generate cabal points for your army for each model with this ability that is on the battlefield. Okay, so list them for you. Magnus the Red, for example, is going to give you 4 points. Ahriman, Exalted Sorcerer, and Thousand Suns Demon Prince, they give you 3, so they're good. Sorcerers in Terminator Armor and Infernal Masters give you 2, and Scarab Occult Sorcerer, Aspiring Sorcerer, and Xango Shamans give you 1. In your psychic phase, you can spend any cabal points you have to use the Karbalistic Rituals from the list below. Each time you do, reduce the total number of cabal points you have by the amount shown. At the end of each psychic phase, any unspent cabal points are lost. So quite straightforward. You see what type of units you have, gives you a total for your cabal points, and then spend your points each psychic phase on these 9 abilities, and then any spare just get discarded. So nice little bonus, some extra stuff going on. See if any of this is helpful enough. I'm sure there'll be some good ones. In your psychic phase, unless otherwise specified, you can use each Karbalistic Ritual once, and each unit from your army can only benefit from 1 Karbalistic Ritual. A unit can only benefit from a Karbalistic Ritual if it has this ability. Yes, you'll see it. So, for example, it won't be for them. It'll be around here. Karbalistic Rituals. So, Terminators get it. So, it gives you the costs. So I'll call these out. Starting with the cheapest first, roughly going through to the most expensive. So, for example, just to give you an idea, my army I've got. Usually I would have, I'm not sure what my final list will be, but I usually have 3 Exalted Sorcerers and Ahriman. So that would give me 12 points. And then I'd have 1 Aspiring Sorcerer and 2 Occult Sorcerers. So that can be another 3 points. So 15 points to spend. And we're looking at costs of 4, 4, 5, 3, 4, 7, 8, 8 and 9. So. Okay, so another incentive for me to keep my Psyches alive. Imbued Manifestation, the cheapest one, one of the cheapest. 4 cabal points. Use this Karbalistic Ritual when a psychic power is successfully manifested by a unit from your army. Add 6 inches to the range. Oh, I see. So that's where you get your stretch for the range. Range of that psychic power's effects. If the psychic power specifies multiple ranges, Astral Blast, add 6 inches to the first range specified of the psychic power. So yeah, you just allocate the points and spend it. So it's there if you need it, and that it will be very, very useful actually. Malevolent Charge, 4 cabal points. Use this Karbalistic Ritual when a psychic power is successfully manifested by a unit from your army. If the psychic test power inflicts mortal wounds on an enemy unit, after inflicting the mortal wounds, select one of those units and inflict D3 additional mortal wounds on the target. Great. What a hidden gem we've found here. These all look really good. Kindred Sorcerers, 5 cabal points. These are the lower grade ones. I wonder how good they're going to get as the price goes up. Use this Karbalistic Ritual after taking a Psychic test for a unit in your army. Add 1 to the Psychic test. So I could just tip you into passing the test if you need to. 5 couple points. Just for being alive, you just get these points. That's all it costs you, just for having the models on the board. Warp Sight, 3 points. Use this Karbalistic Ritual when a Psychic power is successfully manifested by a unit from your army. If the Psychic test power requires you to select a visible unit to the Psychic, for that manifestation you can select a unit visible to any friendly unit with the Karbalistic Ritual's ability. Okay, and then Echoes from the Warp. 4 points. Use this Karbalistic Ritual in your Psychic phase. Select one Psychic unit from your army. To the end of the phase, that unit can perform the following actions. Echoes from the Warp, Psychic action, Warp charge for 3. If successful, gain 1 command point. And then Pact from Beyond. Now we're going up in price. We're on 7. I was going to say CP, but you can't really do that because of command points. It's Carbal points here. Use this Karbalistic Ritual when attempting to manifest a Psychic power from a unit from your army. Do not make the Psychic test. That Psychic test is passed, but at the minimum required. Interesting. Tactically, very useful. You might find yourself out of deny the witch range, and so it doesn't matter what score you get. Just get the guaranteed pass. Fine. Especially if you're on a difficult one to manifest, and you're out of range of any deny. So it's warp charge value 8, for example. Brilliant. Just auto pass it, and then you score. You know, it's the minimum of what you need, but it's 8, so it's going to be hard for the opponent to block it. Now the masters of Psychic powers here. Karbalistic Focus. So it's not a stratagem. It's now a Carbal points option. 8. This costs. Use this Karbalistic Ritual after Psychic test is made from your army is passed. That Psychic power is that Psychic power or Psychic action cannot be denied, so you can't stop it going through. Brilliant. Psychic Maelstrom. So you really can. There's a lot more control of the Psychic phase here. 8 Carbal points for Psychic Maelstrom. Use this Karbalistic Ritual when a unit from your army is selected to manifest Psychic powers. To the end of that phase, that unit can attempt to manifest 1 Witch Fire Psychic power that another Psychic in your army has already attempted to manifest during the phase. Even though the same Psychic power cannot normally be attempted more than once per Psychic phase, and even if that does not know that Psychic power. Yeah, powerful enough. Again, this real control over the Psychic phase. And the Wrath of the Immaterium. 9 CP for this one. Use this Karbalistic Ritual after taking a Psychic test for a unit from your army. Add 2 to the Psychic test. There it is. Just add 2 to the Psychic test. Okay, so I reckon what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover, for the sake of time, to keep it really specific, I'm going to go through units that I'm familiar with and are unique for Thousand Suns. Standard Chaos Space Marine stuff, we'll skip over that. So we'll do like a skimmed version here, just getting through to the real important bits here and try and update Thousand Suns players on the improvements or not here for each of these units. So work our way through. We're going to start with Ahriman here on the Disc of Tzeentch. So yeah, apologies, Disc of Tzeentch is still optional, you don't have to. This model can be equipped with 1 Disc of Tzeentch and 1 Disc Blades. So Disc Blades are useless still. You get an additional attack for taking them, and it's strength 4 minus 0, 1 damage. So Ahriman's on Weapon Skill Ballistic Skill 2+, he was at previously. He's 6 wounds now. I think he used to be 5. Could be wrong. 5 attack space for him as well. Leadership 9, 3 up save. The Inferno Bolt Pistol. Range 12, pistol 1, strength 4 minus 2, 1 damage. So nothing too scary there. The Black Staff of Ahriman is +3 strength. AP minus 1 and straight 3 damage. So scary enough. If you give him the disc, then it's movement 12, and he can fly and cavalry keywords, and loses the infantry keyword. It's got Karbalistic Rituals, Lord of the Thousand Suns, so it's a reroll 1 aura ability for core units, and then each time a Psychic test is made for this model, you can reroll your tests, which is great. and then a 4+ invuln save as well, and the usual master of psychic powers. So manifest 3, deny 3. It's crazy. And he knows powers from the Discipline of Change and all the Discipline of Vengeance. He's got access to 18 psychic powers he can choose from. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll give you a I'll call out a points update as we go along, which I think would prove useful for people. So Ahriman on foot is 160. It's 20 points to take the disc. I would usually take that, but he's expensive enough. 180 odd points. Oof. And he's not that tough. So it's a case of him just kicking out psychic powers every turn, just chucking out the damage and staying safe will be the key for Ahriman. Yes, he can come out to play later on, but not to get stuck in combats early on and get taken out and then lose the ability to manifest those powers. Demon Prince, pretty standard here, 8 wounds, 5 attacks base. The Malefic Talons, which I take, is going to be strength for the user, AP -1, I think it was AP -2 previously, and then 2 damage, and each time the bearer fights it makes 1 additional attack with this weapon. Oh boy, oh boy. 5 attacks base. You used to take a pair of Malefic Talons and it gave you an extra 3. You can give him wings for the 12-inch move and fly. The model's Hellforged Sword can be replaced with one of the following: a Demonic Axe, 1 Malefic Talon, and this model can also be equipped with wings. Right. Yeah, okay. I'm just looking. So a Demon Prince, right, is equipped with a Hellforged Sword and Malefic Talons. It's got the Malefic Talons. It then says this model's Hellforged Sword can be replaced with one of the following: a Demonic Axe or 1 Malefic Talons. But we've already got Malefic Talons. And then for the ability for Malefic Talons, each time the bearer fights, it makes 1 additional attack with this weapon. Yes, but he's already got that weapon, and adding another Malefic Talons to the Malefic Talons won't get you an extra attack, I don't think. I don't know how that works on him. If anyone knows, do let us know. And then you have to think about him. He's not that potent as he was. Because I was running 7 attacks previously, and then remember with Death to the False Emperor that used to kick in 6s popping extra attacks. It all used to help out, but now he's been knocked down a fair bit here. There is the core units within 6 inches, get the reroll hit rolls of 1, that continues, can manifest 2 psychic powers and deny 1. The Infernal Master, this is like your chaplain, he's not that great stat wise, strength 4, toughness 4, 4 wounds, 4 attacks. The stave is +3 strength -1 and D3 damage as per usual. He can manifest 1 psychic power and deny 1, and he also gets to 3+ activate his Infernal Pact ability as well. I'm starting to wonder about the Demon Prince now, but he's very useful with wings. We're looking at here, Demon Prince, 140 points. Giving wings is another 35, so looking at 175 points. The Hellforged Sword or the axe is 10 points a time, so about the same kind of cost as previously. This is expensive enough. And then the Infernal Master, just 90 points for him, not bad. Regular Sorcerer, Chaos Space Marines, Exalted Sorcerers. You're now looking at Weapon Skill, Ballistic Skill 2+, that remains, that's excellent. 5 wounds, 5 attacks as base, so all pretty good. Stave's the same, I believe, +3 strength, -1 and D3 damage. You can go for the Prosokine Kopesh, +1 strength, -3 and 2 damage. You can take a disc. There's a 4+ invuln save on these, so they have been improved. They used to be 5+, they're now 4+ built in, which is great. Reroll hit rolls as well. The core units within 6 inches, excellent. And then manifest 2 psychic powers and deny 1. I think they're pretty good, but they're still, the key is to keep them sheltered and safe. kicking out psychic powers each turn unmolested. So Exalted Sorcerer is just a straight 100 points. The disc is another 25, and then you can take a Pleasure Pistol, a Kapesh, or Flame Pistol for 5 points a time. But they're quite cheap now. I'm sure they were more expensive previously. Great. Good. Sorcerer and Terminator armor. Cultists are available for the Thousand Suns. Zangors pretty much haven't changed. I think their points have dropped yet. I think they're 8 points previously. They're now 7 points a time. Brilliant news. Still one attack base, but you do get the extra attack if you take the Zangor Blades or the Chain Sword. I usually go for Zangor Blades with that extra, that AP -1, just that nip off the armour from the opponent. If you take a Brayhorn, so I think it's 5 or 10 points, add 1 to advance and charge rolls made for that unit, it's helpful enough. And then the Herd Banner, each time a morale test is taken for the unit, you can reroll the test. And that's about it with them. On to Rubric Marines. Quite straightforward, they've gone up to 2 wounds a time. They are 2 attacks base on those as well. Yeah, we'll cover some of the war gear here. So what's really improved is the Inferno stuff hasn't really changed. The bolt gun's the same. Plasma pistol. The Soul Reaper cannon I'm loving here. Range 24. Heavy 5. Great. Strength 6. -3 1 damage. So cool. And then you've got the stratagem that lets you go again. Warp Flame Pistol. Not much change. Warp Flamer, no. It's just auto hits of flame type weapons. The 4 stave covered. The Icon of Flame, if you take it, at the start of the psychic phase, if your army is a couple of sorcerers and the bearers on the battlefield, you generate 1 additional cardboard point. So you can top that up with that. Yeah. Okay. Talking about your war gear options, they get Malicious Volleys, Karbalistic Rituals, Sorcerer's Master, and so on. You're on auto pass morale for these boys, so they will not budge for morale, which is excellent. And all his dust, I think, is the same. So with damage characteristic, each time an attack with damage characteristic of 1 is allocated to a model in this unit, add 1 to any saving throws made for that unit. Okay, and the Psyche here for the Aspiring Sorcerer, manifests 1 denial. Then you've got the Hellbrutes, or Standard Chaos Space Marine. Scarab Occult Terminators, they've now gone up to 3 wounds each, 3 wounds base on their attacks as well, which is great. The Infernal Combi Bolter is the same as before. Soul Reaper Cannon, the Stave. If you go for the Kapesh, is much better now. +1 strength, -3, straight 2 damage. Excellent weapon. Marine Killer. The Heavy Warp Flamer is range 12, heavy d6, strength 5, -2, 1 damage, and it's auto hits. Very random though. And Hellfire Missile Rack, range 36 of this, heavy 2. Strength 8, -2, and d3 damage. So, let's give you some points values here. Rubric Marines, 21 points a time. Soul Reaper Cannon's 10 points. It's not bad, and that's pretty much all I take. So, 10 of them for 210 points, 220 points, including the Soul Reaper Cannon. And then your elites, the Scarab Occult Terminators, they're 40 points a time. Heavy Warp Flame of 5, Hellfire Missile Rack is 10, Soul Reaper Cannon is 5. Okay. Pretty good. You got Xango Shaman with him. So you can know 1 psychic power and deny 1. Yeah. I'm riding on the disc of Zinch. The 4 stave, usual stat line for that on him. You got Xangor Enlightened. Oh. Ooh. Xangor Enlightened, the most blessed of their kind. I have to see how much these are. They are... Oh, no. These are the ones on the... these are the ones on the discs. You can't really see it on the picture. I thought these were like... I thought these were upgraded Zangors on foot. It looks very similar. Xangor Enlightened, they're the ones on the discs they're moving about with the bows, I believe. Usually this one's got the auto pistol and chainsword. 18 points a time, no cost or any kind of upgrades going on with them. So 2 attack space, 2 wounds for them, 6 up save, got the 5+ invuln save that'll kick in. Disc Blaze, nothing to do scary. Divining Spear is +1 strength, faith -1, 2 damage. And the Great Bow, yeah, we'll take a look at the Great Bow here. So it's a 30-inch range assault 1. They are ballistic skill 3+, strength 5 -1, 1 damage. If you select, each time you select a target for this weapon, you can ignore Lookout Sir. Each time an attack is made with this weapon, a modified hit roll of a 2+ is always successful. So 2's to hit the target always. It's just assault 1 though. Unit of 5 is going to struggle to bring a character down. So no, I probably wouldn't bother here. Guided by Fate, each time a model in this unit makes an attack, excluding an attack made with a disc blade, a modified hit roll of a 6 automatically wounds the target as well. Okay, you've got Chaos Spawners, regular Chaos stuff, Chaos Rhino, don't need to cover that one. The Vortex Beast here, didn't choose to go for that one, but we'll see what comes up now with the rules here. So this is like a Sigmar type model that's crossed over into 40k. Strange old thing. So you're looking at power level 7, and the Vortex Beast. It's heavy support. Just a flat 145, 145 points. So you've got damage profile, movement 10 it starts off with, drops down to 8 and then 6. Weapon skill 3+, 4+, and 5+. Ballistic skill remains the same. Strength 7, toughness 7, 14 wounds, 5 attacks. Leadership 7, 4 up save. And Vortex powers 2, 1, and then 0, depending on the damage bracket. It's equipped with a Betentacled Maw and Mutilative Claws. So the Maw is strength for the user, strength 7, -1, 1 damage. Each time attack is made with this weapon, make 3 hit rolls instead of 1, so 15 attacks available. All with the claws, +1 strength, so fighting strength 8, -2 and 3 damage, pretty good. It's a 5+ invuln save available. You can regain D3 lost wounds. Warp Explosion, when this model is destroyed, roll 1d6 and a 4+ it explodes, and each unit within 6 inches is D3 mortal wounds. Warp Vortex. So in your shooting phase, you can this model can use a number of vortex powers as specified in its characteristics table above. Each time this model does so, select one of the powers below that has not already been used by a friendly model this turn and resolve its effects. So, on 4 strength, 2 powers kicking out, you can go for Immaterial Flare. Select one enemy unit of an 18 invisible to the model, then roll 1d6 for each model in that unit. Each roll of a 6 is a mortal wound. Fine. Not bad, it's okay. Tubulant Discharge. Determine the closest enemy unit of an 18 invisible to the model, then roll 1d6. On a 2 to 4, that unit suffers D3 mortal wounds, and a 5+, they take 3 mortal wounds. And then Maelstrom of Madness. Roll 1d6 for each enemy unit of an 8 within 9 inches of this model. On 2+, that unit suffers 1 mortal wound. Okay. So, not bad, it's okay. Beam of Unreality. So you're sort of kicking out mortal wound damage that my Psyches could do. The big difference is my Psyches can hide. This thing cannot so much. Beam of Unreality. Select one enemy unit with a wounds characteristic of 10 or more as within 24 invisible to the model. Roll 1d6. Subtracting 1 from the result if that enemy unit has the aircraft keyword, and adding 1 to the result if the enemy unit is the Titanic keyword. On a 3 to 4 it's D3 mortal wounds, and a 5+ it suffers D6 mortal wounds. So you can use this thing as a mortal wound machine to a degree. I think it'd be a bit of a bullet magnet. Chaos Vindicator, Land Raiders all available. The Defiler's available. Forge Fiend. So it's weaponry now. The Ectoplasma Cannon, range 36, heavy D3. It'll be equipped with 2 of these. Heavy D3, strength 7, -3, 3 damage as standard, so it's great news. And then Blast Weapon. Yeah, it'll be a killer against Death Guard. You can also go for the Hades Autocannon, which is range 48, better range, heavy 4, strength 8, -2 and 2 damage. And then the Jaws, strength user, -1, 2 damage. Now, Yeah, there's a few bits here, but it counts the same for Maulifines. Now for Maulifines, it looks like we've got some improvements going on here. So the Maulifine, 140 points. If you take the Lash of Tendrils, which I probably will, it'll be 150 points. So a bit more expensive, but still quick enough. 10-inch move, which drops down depending on the damage. And this is the big one. Weapon skill is now 3+, not 4+, so it is 3s to hit to start off with this thing. So that is excellent news. Slight downside, it's now, it used to be fixed at 4+, no matter what bracket it's in. Now it starts at 3+, but can drop to 4s and then 5+s for the last few wounds remaining. The base number of attacks have gone up from 4 to 6, so more attacks available. And 3-up save remains. And then it's equipped with Magma Cutters and Maulifine Fists. God, I don't know. Magma Cutters. They're tempting to go for. Now, because the ballistic skill's 3+, it's range 6 though, assault 2, strength 8, -4, d6 +2 damage. That is potent enough if you can get the hits and wounds coming through, so, and the range is very short. I usually go for Lash of Tendrils because I just want this to be a close combat beast. They've actually dropped in value. Strength of the user, AP -2, and only 1 damage now. Used to be 2, but only 1. And each time the bearer fights, you get 6 additional attacks to this weapon, which is pretty much what it was before. So, a bit of a conundrum here. The Maulifine, don't know, you could end up going back towards Magma Cutters. I don't know, it's hard to say. Maulifine Fists, more great news. Here it comes. ×2 strength, AP -3, and D3 +3 damage. That's on 6 attacks base at 3s to hit. Scary stuff. 5+ invuln save. It can explode just per usual. And then Infernal Regeneration, it can regain a lost wound. Excellent news. And then Siege Crawler ignores all modifiers for charge rolls, so which could help out in some situations. So Maulifine, I think, generally pretty good improvement. Then you got access to Chaos Predator Destructors, Annihilators. The Helldrake is available as well. And then Magnus the Red. We'll look at his rules here, but it's just a Psycho Beast. Manifest 3 psychic powers and deny 3. Araman's the same though on that one. 16-inch move, weapon skill, ballistic skill remains the same no matter what the bracket is. 18 wounds, strength 8, toughness 7, 8 attacks base, 3-up save. The Blade of Magnus is ×2 strength, so strength 16, -4, 3 damage. And then it's an extra D3 mortal wounds if there's an enemy model that's taken any wounds from him. Demon Primarch, if your army's battlefield, this model must be your army's warlord. If more than one model in your army has a rule to this effect, then one of those models must be your army's warlord. Primarch the Thousand Suns Aura ability, while a friendly Thousand Suns core unit is within 6 inches of this model. Each time model in that unit makes an attack, reroll hit rolls of 1. Lord of the Planet of the Sorcerers, in your command phase, select one friendly Thousand Suns core or character unit within 6 inches of this model. To start the next command phase, each time model in that unit makes an attack, you can reroll the hit rolls, so not bad at all. 4+ invuln save, and never suffers perils of the warp. Gaze of Magnus, each time this model manifests the Smite psychic power, inflict D6 mortal wounds instead of D3, or 3D3 mortal wounds instead of D6, if the result of the test was 11 or more. 3D3 mortal wounds. And then you've got Unearthly Power. You can reroll a psychic test taken with this model. Each time a psychic test or another witch test is taken with this model, add 1 to the result. If the model has 10 or more wounds remaining, add 2 to the result instead. There's your points values, weapon profiles, and your references and so on. And that is the review of the Thousand Suns Chaos Space Marines. Not the biggest of codexes, there's a ton of stuff to go through there. Loads of stratagems, all traits, loads of psychic powers to cover, extra stuff being added in, but it's great to see this codex just pulling everything together. Beautiful presentation, and looks to be a decent enough codex. I'll be going through some ideas and working on a list. Usually what happens after this is I will put a list together and then submit that over on the Plus channel in an army development video, and then people can leave their own comments and suggestions, and help form and shape that army before it comes out in games on YouTube. That's the idea with Thousand Suns. Do remember those painted tutorials, use them as an aid and a guide to helping you as you paint your army up. Discount 40k plus a whole lot of other gaming systems. Goblin Gaming, use the link below, it helps out the channel in a small way. Keep a look out for more reviews on the channel. Leave your own comments, what you think of this Thousand Suns Codex, and it can be a help and guide to other newer players or those that are thinking of collecting Thousand Suns Chaos Space Marines. But I'm sure this Codex will be decent enough. Thousand Suns look as strong as ever, so looking forward to seeing how well they do on the tabletop with their new Codex. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time.